Hi, thanks for stopping by PosterCentral.com's video blog. I'm Pete Howard, and this, of course, is an Elvis concert poster from the 1970s, but the cool thing about it is, as far as I know, generally people have not seen this one before, and when you've been a collector for decades like me, you get a big kick out of finding something nobody's seen before, right? That's really, forget about that in coin collecting and stamp collecting, you're just looking for condition and price, but even baseball cards, it's all been reported, but I love it in this hobby when you're always, not always, but when you can turn up something that people say, wow, what's that? Whoa. So this is from 1973, and it's a very unusual Elvis concert poster in that it was a 3 a.m. Mother's Day show that was added on to Presley's regular Tahoe run. We're talking about Lake Tahoe, Nevada, the Sahara Tahoe Casino, which sat, of course, on the Nevada side. South Lake Tahoe was on both the California and Nevada side, and I know of which I speak because I actually lived there in that town at this time, and I was in the radio business. I was a disc jockey in Tahoe at K-Tahoe, KTHO, on the South Shore, but this was not long after I arrived, and I just wasn't, I saw Presley in Tahoe in '75, and by that time I had connections for good seats and stuff, but anyway, enough about me. So this is, it's unusual for a huge number of reasons. I guess the most obvious one, first of all, I guess I haven't quite gotten it full frame yet. Can you check that out if you blow your YouTube video up to, my blog video up to full screen? But it's got the credit for his mom on there. That's what's so highly unusual. Mrs. Gladys Presley in memory of. Look at that. That's just so highly unusual. It certainly, when I first heard about this poster and first found it, it certainly raised eyebrows as to whether it was authentic or not. You know, wait a minute, in loving memory of his mother, Mrs. Gladys Presley, why, you know, blah, 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 blah. But it turns out I did get it from a gentleman who was there that weekend and tried to attend this show, but it was sold out. And he gave me a great letter about it, and we had long conversations about it, so I have no doubt about it that this was taken off the wall inside the casino at this time. So that's really really makes it, it's great when you can get a first-hand reportage on a poster like this as opposed to find something at a garage sale or something. Interesting time in Elvis's career. Actually, he was right on the cusp of major drug problems. This was part of a run in Tahoe, I'm thinking a couple of weeks or 15 days, but a few days after this show they actually had to cancel the last 8 shows of Elvis because he was just really slowing down and being crippled by his prescription drug problem. And it was at that time that Elvis's friends and family started to openly discuss his dependence on prescription drugs and really start to discuss intervening and doing something about it. But this show itself, a rousing success. The gentleman I got it from, again, tried to get in, couldn't. It definitely sold out. And what's funny is Presley had already done 2 shows that night, and yet, you know, here he comes back at 3 in the morning and does a great show. And the general consensus is that it was perhaps the gem, the best show of this particular Tahoe run of his 1973 Tahoe stand. So that's really exciting. And a matter of fact, we can be a witness to the exact show because there's a series of Elvis CDs put out called Follow That Dream. That's the series. Elvis fans know that. And this was released as Taken Tahoe Tonight, a series produced by Ernst Michael Jorgensen and Roger Seaman. And boy, they could have used this poster for their booklet or the graphics, that's for sure. But again, being such a scarce poster. So that's, you know, that's neither here nor there. And what's also nice, and reportage on the show says that after the concert, like at 5 a.m., we're talking the sun coming up, Elvis did a very rare thing. He came out and talked with and mingled with fans after the show, and he hardly ever did that, either in Tahoe or Vegas, so that's pretty cool. Good time in Elvis's career? Yes, indeed. He was riding the crest of his final, last ever #1 album on Billboard, and that would be, of course, Aloha from Hawaii via satellite. That record had been released in January, and recorded in January, released in February, and hit #1 in March. And this is May, so that's really cool. It's just Elvis was just still really on his game, so that's just pretty darn cool. And as you can see down here, it says that in the paragraph down there, it talks about the hospital benefit a little bit like that. And I can remember from living there, Barton Memorial Hospital on the South Shore is the big hospital in South Lake Tahoe and for the region. And after the show, Elvis donated $12,000 to Barton for their cardiac and intensive care unit, ICU, of the hospital. And you know, $12,000 doesn't sound like very much, does it? And I thought, well, okay, so he donated part of his proceeds? No, he donated all of his proceeds from this show to the hospital, because Elvis was paid $300,000 for 2 weeks, right, to play Tahoe. That doesn't sound like much either on this particular stand. Well, if you take those 2 weeks, and that's twice a night, and then 6 nights per show, and do the math, it actually comes out about $12,500 per show is what Elvis's take was. So he donated the entire proceeds from this show to Barton, to the hospital. And then guess what? They sold another $13,000 in souvenir sales just surrounding this show. I don't know if they jacked up the prices or if that was the normal price. So it was over $25K for the hospital, which is more money then than it certainly is today. So here it is. It's not a one-off. They probably made half a dozen, maybe as many as 10 or 12. I don't know, but you know, it's on board. It's like cardboardish, or more like a mounted board, and it's 22 by 28 inches. And as you can see, it's what's weird is the artist is just given as studio there. So that's obviously an in-house piece. It was probably done by the Sahara Tahoe. It's funny, it doesn't even say Sahara Tahoe anywhere on here. That means it was not an external piece, it was an internal piece, just around the casino only, and Colonel Tom probably had nothing to do with it, because he probably would have insisted on a picture of Elvis. So it's just a great, unique piece, and really fun, and love things we've never seen before. So now you have, right? Okay. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.